I'm always sitting back. I know I'm too close to it at times, but I'm always thinking, what is it based on? Because it's obviously it's public confidence, and you want the bets to end up on either side, right?
Yep.
But like, why the public confidence on certain things is so high or so low?
Mm-hmm.
The idea the Broncos were going to go 5-12 last year.
Yeah, I never thought that, but yeah.
Would have been hard to imagine. The Vikings were 6.5.
Yeah, the Vikings was pretty low as well.
Last year.
Yep.
And that was just because of, all right, Sam Darnold or J.J. McCarthy. They're not Kirk Cousins. And yet, they go and win 14.
Yeah, slightly different this year. Denver, 9.5 right now, win total.
9.5? Which way are you going on that, Brock?
Over is plus money.
Sean might be listening. Does that help?
Well, over is plus 125, and I think that's great value for an over for Denver. 10-7, like, come on.
Betting on these two before and again, I can't give gambling advice. Did I mention
before the
that?
draft. Yeah, you mentioned that a few times.
Betting it before the draft seems completely wild to me because of the combination of trades that can happen before and during the draft, the draft picks that can vastly influence things as well.
Right.
And we're sitting here 15 days out, and again, I think that it was similar to this last year where at this point we knew Caleb was going number one. We had a pretty good idea. It's never 100%. This year, never 100%. But we had a pretty good idea Cam Ward goes 1 to the Titans. The draft begins at 2, but unlike a year ago when it was, okay, which quarterback is Washington going to take? Because the back and forth last year was not even Jaden versus Drake May. It was Jaden versus J.J. McCarthy. That was the real question about who was going to go number 2. This year, I would fairly say this. I would be surprised if the Browns take Shedeur Sanders at 2. It seems like, and again, everybody lies this time of year. There's tons of misinformation, but it seems like a Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter decision for the Browns. Mm-hmm. Then you get to the Giants at 3. I would not be surprised if they took Shedeur.
But they take the other guy, right? No? Oh, you would not be surprised.
I would not be surprised.
Oh, interesting.
If they would take Shedeur.
I think you should keep saying that nonstop until the draft.
I would say it for a variety of reasons.
Mostly so the Patriots can get one of those other
I know
two
you
guys.
love it. Absolutely. Yeah. I would just say, even though they signed Jameis, they signed Russell. They're making a combined like $15 million this year. That's solid bridge quarterback, high-end backup quarterback money between the two of them.
Right.
There's nothing there that precludes you. And I got a call from a GM who told me, like, everyone's saying that this means they're not taking a quarterback after they signed Russ. He's like, this is the perfect setup because you got two dudes who have been there before. Take the pressure off having to push Shedeur onto the field. And what buys you more time as a coach in front office than drafting a quarterback? So Shedeur, who rolled into a game earlier this year wearing full Giants garb, you know that he would like to end up potentially in that situation. You are absolutely right that there are some teams right behind the Giants that have an absolute vested interest in wanting him to go there, including the Patriots, who are at 4 and are not going to take a quarterback. But that would not shock me. So that becomes then, if Shedeur does not go at 3, where does he go? And that is one of the many unknowns here. Because if you talk to people around the league, and I've talked to enough coaches and scouts, there's a real difference here in the way that it's not unanimous, it rarely is, but the way that Cam Ward and Shedeur are seen. And if Shedeur does not go by 3, then you run into the real questions of, all right, where exactly does he go? Because there's only so many teams that are even a threat to take one in the first. Is he in for a long slide? Does he go 3 and life is simple and you guys fall completely backwards into Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter?
That would be great.
Best case scenario for the Patriots. But if he does not go, if they take the other guy, it's going to be fascinating to see. Because there's real intrigue in Tyler Shuck from Louisville, the 7th-year senior who's got 3 different degrees at 3 different schools. You've got Jalen Milroe, who, and I know that Alabama fans, there's some PTSD there in terms of watching the inconsistencies in the passing game, but he is a pretty unique runner, and he's bigger than the other really good runners we've seen in the NFL. There's real fans of him. And Jackson Dart, the same thing. There's real Jackson Dart fans out there. If you told me Shedeur is not the second quarterback or even the third quarterback, I wouldn't be shocked. I think he ultimately is the second quarterback taken, but that's the level of variance that exists there in a year where Cam Ward is probably in the mix with those top 6 guys that went last year at the top of the draft. He wouldn't be number 1. He probably wouldn't be number 2, but he'd be in that mix. With Shedeur, he might be later on.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.